Hey everyone, this is Ronnie with Everything Virtual. Today is kind of a different episode. Zane is not here to host, so hopefully I'll do an okay job in his absence. But I'm here to kind of guide us through some conversation, and then John's with me. How are you doing, John?
Doing good, Ronnie. Doing good. Hanging in tight with the quarantine and all of that stuff. I think last time we talked, the quarantine was a recommendation in Georgia and not quite mandate yet. So,
Okay.
but now it has been like officially from the governor mandated, and they're talking about lifting some of it this coming weekend actually. But yeah, it's been an interesting like few weeks. But yeah, doing good, man. How are you?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, I've been in. I'm normally in Chicago, which went into lockdown pretty early on with Illinois, and
Hmm.
then but my wife's family is in St. Louis, and that's where I am right now, working remotely. And we came here early on, right before kind of the stay at home order officially went
Hmm.
into effect. So kind of waited a couple weeks, and then right before that hit, drove down here, and we've been quarantined here, just staying here for the past month or so. And yeah, things are good. It's kind of weird that my room here is kind of like a multi-purpose area. Like I have my VR computer set up, I have my work laptop, I have all of my gym supplies and everything all over the floor. And so depending on whatever time of day it is, it's like, okay, time to have a short workout, like pull out all my dumbbells and stuff and have a workout, and then put it all away in like same room as the lighthouses for the index and every like it's just really funny. I throw a big sheet over the mirror so it doesn't cause issues with the
Yeah,
tracking and all of that. And
yeah.
then and then when I'm done playing, I take it down and like use the room for whatever else. So yeah, it's been it in some ways it's been really like kind of cozy. In other ways, there's days where I'm just like, I don't know how much longer I can take this. Like it's just
Oh
kind
yeah.
of and then you sleep on it, and then it's just another day. And you
Yep.
know, at the end of the day, we have it pretty great, I must say. Like as far as being able to do all of these things while we're stuck at home is really not that big of a deal. And I'm really fortunate to be working and to be able to do my job remotely and all of that. So I have a lot to be thankful for. But at the same time, it's just like everybody, it's just kind of a weird situation. But
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, same boat in all those respects. Like it is weird. It gets stranger and stranger. It feels like, but also as it gets stranger, it becomes a little more normal each and every day. Like it's just
yeah,
like you said, it just becomes another day. But yeah, I echo all of that. Very fortunate. Like my wife and I both are still able to continue working from the house, and that's been really nice. And I actually just with all this, it kind of gave me an excuse to set up a home editing sort of deal. So I got like a new PC from NZXT, and it's got a really sweet 35-inch Acer Predator monitor and some new peripherals, and just enjoying that, going to town with using that for editing and for VR too, and just a bunch of different stuff. So yeah, most definitely, it's yeah, we're very fortunate, counting every blessing in that regard. It's yeah, because a lot of folks are just not quite having the same
yeah.
experience, unfortunately. But yeah, I guess from there though, like what have you been, you mentioned you've got your index set up and everything, so what have you
Yeah.
been playing?
Well, so yeah, I brought the index and my PC, and actually right before all the COVID-19 stuff hit, I upgraded my computer. Like literally, I had no idea we were going to go into lockdown or anything. Like it was going to
Yeah.
be that bad. It was just one of those things where I hadn't upgraded the main components in my PC other than the graphics card for years and years,
Hmm.
and I knew that all of the stuff going on overseas might impact supply. So I was just kind of looking towards the future, thinking, man, if things get delayed with like Ryzen third gen or whatever, and you know now seems like a pretty good time. I've heard a lot of good things about the Ryzen 3000 uh, CPUs. So I
Hmm.
ended up pulling the trigger and getting a 3900X, since I figured that would be great for gaming, but also has the ability to, has those extra cores so I can run streams in the background during my VR sessions, and it should do well there. And, it's honestly been amazing for VR, not just because, I don't have a great direct comparison as far as like what other, modern computers are able to crank out.
Sure.
But I was running a 1080 Ti with an older i7, like a 3770K, which is like it was amazing back in like 2012. So literally, it held its own, and it definitely served me very, very well for that many years. Like, I'm glad I waited to upgrade. But at the same time, as soon as I started playing using the Index, I realized how much smoother everything is now, and just how, when it was working well before, it was fine. But every now and then there would be games that would dip, and like you wouldn't necessarily always notice it because it would run kind of normal most of the time, and then every now and then things just would be a little bit off. And now I don't have to worry about any of that stuff, so that's been awesome. And in terms of what I've been playing lots of random stuff. I kind of started installing a bunch of different games, thinking I was going to have more time than I've had. I went down Steam and I'm like, all right, I need to go through my backlog, especially like in terms of traditional games. So I think I installed GTA 5 because I hadn't really played through that. I installed Shadow of War. I installed Red Dead Redemption 2. Not that I'm only playing Rockstar games or anything, but and what else? Like, I guess just I actually installed Skyrim. I installed just like a few games here and there that I was like, these are longer games that I haven't really played that are sitting here in my collection. I'm gonna get to those, and I haven't really yet. But I have played VR. One thing that I've definitely been going to is a lot of the like fitness type apps, just because with not going to the gym and everything. I like doing some kind of something cardio wise that kind of gets the blood flowing. Like I played Box VR quite a bit, and that I think has some really great workouts. And then I've also played like the traditional Beat Saber and Pistol Whip and those games as well. But those have really been holding me through. And then we're going to talk later on the show about Half-Life Alyx, but I played through that. And I've just been kind of here and there playing a bunch of different stuff. Also, different Quest titles. I'm trying to think. We have a lot of games to play. We've been fortunate enough to get keys from Oculus and other folks out there. And so, can't complain in terms of all the VR content I have to play. Hopefully, we'll get to sharing more with all of you guys out there soon. But what about you? What specifically have you been playing?
Kind of the same deal. Definitely a lot of Beat Saber. That's been a, like you said, it just something to get the blood flowing and get cardio.
Have you gotten a chance to try that new, it was like a fitness track or Fitbeat or
no?
There was a new track that they just released, and I have not had a chance to play it myself. I've been kind of addicted to like the 360 and 180 degree levels where. So I've been playing a lot of that, and I dabbled with the Timbaland music track, or some of those extra songs, and I really like those. But there's a new track actually from the Beat Saber team that released to everybody for free, and it's supposedly focused on fitness. So, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet. So
that's really cool. Yeah, no, I haven't had a chance to play it yet either. That sounds super fun though. But a lot of Beat Saber, and just swinging away at that. It's been a lot of fun. I've been, I have been doing some Rec Room a little bit with other folks that I know that have headsets, and that's been really fun.
What do you do in when you're playing Rec Room? Do you do quests or what do you? Okay.
I do. Oh yeah. Well, I just riff.
Okay. No. I mean, I shouldn't have. That's funny. I said that. I meant like in the game. You know how there's like
Oh yeah.
there's like quests that you can do in the game, or
Yeah.
versus just like playing game like normal different sports or just messing around.
Yeah, it's mostly just been the mini games. That's mostly what I do. Is just like we'll go in and like play paintball or whatever. Or I really like I forget what it's called, but like the little battle royale one that they have is really silly and fun.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, just little things like that. And then honestly, like I know a few folks that have gotten headsets since all this has started, and just showing them around like Steam VR, like the virtual environments and all that sort of thing, and just like the different ones that people have made. That's been really fun to just kind of show people and walk them through. So I've been doing a lot of that.
Yeah, just curious on that. Do you know, like, have you talked to any of them about what it was like to try to get a headset during all of it? Like, was it easy for them to find, or?
So no. So the only one that that got one really recently, she got an old what's the not DK1 but
Okay, like the consumer, like CV1, I guess. So so the standard Rift that came out as a consumer version with like
correct.
with the sensors and
Yes.
Okay.
They got one of those and have been enjoying it. So, and I think even then it might have been, and when I say right before, I do mean like probably like maybe days before it really took off, and they all were like out of stock. So
yeah,
so they might have
good timing.
Yeah, I know they might have still got a good price on it. But what's funny is like I've told some friends of mine that are like kind of flirted with the idea. They're now really like, oh man, like I really want to get one. And I found them a few. Like I found them specifically. I found quests on Facebook Marketplace that are at like the price point that they should be at, which is like
that's nice,
$350-ish, for a for the 64 gig version or whatever. And I think I found one Rift S for around the same. Like you cannot find Index anywhere. Like that's just not happening unless it might be marked up to like $2 or $3 grand, something absolutely ridiculous, astronomical. And then even like the Vive, I can't find any Vives, which is really interesting. I've just kind of been looking and seeing like what it's like. And then the Rift S right now. So we're getting way off topic, but I love it. Like this is a good one. Like the Rift S, I bought mine last August 2019 for, I want to say like $325. I got a really good deal on eBay from a guy who like hardly used it. And I think the cheapest one that I've seen in like the past 2 to 3 weeks was maybe 700, but most of them are around like 800. Yeah, like literally 200% price increase. It's absolutely bonkers, man. It's so
no, that's like, I mean, it's one of those things, like anything that's in demand right now. I haven't been on the market for a headset since luckily I had that stuff before, but the thing I didn't have was like gym equipment, since I usually just go to the gym. So I've been trying to pick some of that kind of stuff up. And similar to the HMDs, all the prices on like dumbbells and stuff are just outrageous. If you go to Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, any of that stuff, it's like you'd be shocked at the prices for like stupid little dumbbells or anything. Because I mean, at this point, we don't really know how long this is going to last. And if there's something that can get you through it, that can make life a little bit easier, like I think people are willing. I mean, at this point, if you're that's one of the, I mean, for people that are still working and able to bring in an income, there's less stuff that they're spending on. So in a way, it is a little bit easier to kind of stomach some of those like if it's something you really want and you need, and you know you're going to be at home for the next 2 months, it's like like there could be, I guess, worse ways of spending your money. But
yeah, most definitely, it is like it does. To me, it's like it raises an interesting question, just in terms of like I don't know, like what will we stand for? I guess I don't like. I saw a guy yesterday selling a Switch Lite that was brand new in the box for like $300 on a local yard sale thing on Facebook or whatever. And I called out. I was like, bro, like you're really gonna price jack something like that up, like literally another 50%, during a quarantine when people are just trying to get through, and maybe that's one of those things that can get them through. Like I could see, I don't know, like if you just had it laying around or whatever, and you just were getting rid of it, like I don't know,
trust me. Like with the gym equipment, like so there's certain types of equipment that I'm like, okay, these are hard to find. Maybe like they're trying to hold on to it, but then there's every now and then like you see somebody that just like happen to, because I've been able to pick some of my stuff. Like if you get the timing right, some of these stores that are still open, they'll get them in stock and you can drive by and pick them up.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're lucky, you can get something at a normal price from an actual retailer.
Yeah.
And I've been fortunate enough, like I've been able to do that in a lot of instances. Then you'll see the same types of products, like whereas I'm buying those things from retailers to actually use in my house, there's some people that are picking it up and just straight up like selling new whatever online for double the price of me. Like they're buying it so that they can just like rip people off. Like
exactly. So the last little peripheral that I need for my computer is a webcam, right? I was going to get like a C920. It's like a Logitech C920 or something like that.
I have one, but it's back in Chicago. I didn't think ahead to bring it with me here. So
okay, right. That's another thing is like, what do you? I don't even know. But
yeah,
looking at them, it's like $70 new, right? So used, it should be like maybe $40 or $50.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
They are sold out everywhere, and I bid on one on eBay at like $100 because I was like, okay, I can stomach a 30% price increase, or a $30 price increase, not 30%, $30 price increase. That will be okay. And then someone swooped in last minute and did like 125, and I was like, I am not doing this. They're going for like 160, between like 160.
See, that's nuts. Because like I don't even remember how much I paid for mine. Like I bought mine just like at Best Buy or something years ago.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a big deal or anything. I was just like, oh, I need a webcam. Like, go pick up like a pretty good one. Like, like definitely never would have imagined that it would be like a hot commodity or anything like that. So
it's so bananas, man. Like I ended up just on B&H, which is a photo video place.
I'm familiar.
I got one from there. I didn't get one. I shouldn't say I don't have it yet, but I just bought one that was on back order from them at like the standard price because I did it really fast, and I was like, all right, when they do get them in, like it'll come pretty quick. But so it's so weird. And with the headset specifically, the headsets and like any sort of gaming console or something like that, that just adds a level of like a layer of entertainment to your day during something like this. It just seems, like you said, it's different. Like maybe if you already had it or whatever, and you're like, oh man, this is what these are going for right now, and I was already getting rid of it. Like now's a good time to sell. It's a seller's market, all this stuff. But like you do, like the guy that was selling that Switch, he had like 3 of them, I think, and I was like,
see, that's like
bottom and just or sell.
That's frustrating because then you're just like you're just taking it from someone else that could have bought it at normal price at the store after you, and
it's weird, man. It's a weird time. It's not just toilet paper anymore. It's like that people are trying.
And it's the strangest stuff too. Like I said, like I mean, it makes sense that like webcam, but like at the same time, it's like it's just crazy to think about that. Like,
It's like people are getting on Zoom way more now. So I guess people are like, we'll scalp them and sell them for like literally 3 times what they're worth.
That's nuts. Like I said, like. That's something that just sat on top of my TV, actually, my C920. And, like, haven't thought to, like, I use it, but, like, it wasn't, like, I would have never imagined that, like, several years after I purchased it, that its value would, like, spike and all that. That said, like, I'm keeping all of my, like, I like all of my things. I'm definitely not selling them, but.
I had the same mindset. I was like, man, I could like, theoretically sell my Rift right now for like $800 and just buy a down the road. But I was like, well, then I'm going to do it. That defeats the whole purpose of time to be able to
and that's why like even someone like me, like I agree with you. I'd be more if I was going to sell any of my other headsets, and like I'm here, so I didn't even think of like I have an old Rift and an old Vive, though the Vive is not. I'm using those trackers for the Lighthouse base stations for my index. So I really couldn't sell that by itself anyways. But like my Rift S is a complete kit and everything. But unfortunately it's sitting in Chicago. But if I were to sell it, like it'd be one of those things. on one hand, it'd be nice to make extra money, but on the other hand, it would just be a good time to just give it to somebody at a decent price that could jump into everything. And like, that's, if I were to sell it, that's the route I would take. But I'm iffy on like these things. Like for what we do, it kind of comes in handy sometimes to have the extra headsets.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
like the Rift, the original Rift is the one that I have debated getting rid of just because I do have the Quest. So I'm able to connect that to the PC when there's like Oculus specific content that doesn't work great on the index. Like a lot of times things will just work in Revive, but every now and then a title come out, like when Stormlight came out, for example. And that was a title that it didn't work on Revive right away. So having the Rift was really nice because I could just connect it up and play that game as intended. And yeah, so I don't know. The Quest allows you to do a lot of that now on the PC, but it's still not quite as good as the Rift or the Rift S, in my opinion. Like at PC stuff.
Do you notice like latency at all with the link or anything like that?
A little bit, but not like anything crazy. Like it's still, the Quest ultimately would still be for someone that especially doesn't have it. Like if you have a strong PC and you know you're just going to be using a PC, then yeah, I would recommend the Rift S.
Yeah.
But if you're someone that is not a big PC user or doesn't even have a PC, or is going to mostly use it on the go, then yeah, I think the Quest is still like that. It's probably the more recommendable headset for most general people.
Sure.
Just because a lot of people don't have strong PCs. So that's really like that's the main caveat. It's like, okay, do you have a powerful PC? If so, where is that powerful PC? Is that where you want to play VR? If so, then yeah, one of the like probably for most people, it's the Rift S is what I'd recommend right now.
Yeah.
For very like specific people, maybe the Index, but that's like if you're not in VR already, it's kind of hard for me to justify recommending such a high-end headset when the Rift S is so similar in a lot of ways. But then the Quest comes in for all those people that just want to see what VR is, and they don't necessarily game on the PC or anything like that. But where was I getting to? But yeah, no, that's crazy though about all of that stuff with headsets. And yeah, who would have known that? Like I remember Zane and I talking about, oh, it's a shame that these headsets are sold out because Half-Life Alyx is on its way, and it obviously there's a lot of people that are interested in jumping into VR, like back in December and January. And now all this stuff, like it's kind of crazy how things were already backtracked. Like I think it was even before that. Like I don't think COVID-19 stuff was really impacting initially, anyways. There weren't many reports of it impacting like manufacturing of headsets.
No.
But obviously by now it's just impacting everything. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's weird. Yeah, like I mean, yeah, it's both cool to see so many people interested, but then it's also sad to see so many people, that could potentially be really getting into this stuff and enjoying it, given all the working from home and just all the extra time that you have at home by not being able to go other places. It would be nice to be able to take advantage of that for people that are new to VR. But
exactly,
it is what it is. So hopefully hopefully more and more people will be able to get it. And I mentioned this to you the other day, but I'm really thankful for having VR, just in terms of like I have been super busy just in terms of, between work and now my wife and I having to watch our kids here and trying to kind of balance, like we're juggling so many things at this point that I haven't had as much free time as I thought I would. But at the same time, when I do have the free time to jump into VR, it's such a nice change of pace and get away from everything. It's so different than just I'm staring at screens when I'm working all day.
Yeah, same.
And to then sit at that same spot in my room and just launch a game and play from the same area, it's just not always like. Sometimes by the end of the day, you just feel like doing something different, And And VR, it's a different type of screen, obviously, but it just feels so different, right? Like,
Oh yeah, it doesn't. Well, it doesn't feel like a screen at all. Like
no,
you're in, you're in. Like that's what people don't understand. Like even that's still to this day. I've mentioned it before, but my favorite thing is throwing new people in and just watching the reactions. Sometimes what's funny is like watching someone not react is like heavily, and they're like, oh, like this is cool. Like I get way less of that though, and I get way more of like this is like what even is happening right now. And it's a little daunting at first. It's like, oh man, well, how do I get it set up? Oh man, like I do need a PC. Like all the things that you were mentioning earlier, that Quest sort of rectifies a little bit. But yeah, I'll be interested to see, yeah, like moving forward. Again, we mentioned this on the last episode, but just moving forward, it seems like this is going to get ramped up, like in terms of, and we're of course optimists, but it does feel that it's going to kind of move that direction, and this is pushing the needle more towards, especially the social things. And like I hopped in big screen, and there were so many folks in big screen. It kind of blew my mind a little bit. I was like, last time I was in here, like just visiting rooms and whatnot, like it was like you get like one or two maybe. There was like, I don't know, 10 to 15 and like most of the rooms that I was joining, and like people just hanging out, talking, like getting to know each other a little bit. Like it was weird. It was like, but like in a good way weird. Like it was super interesting. We had like, I went into one room and it was like Hell's Kitchen playing. So you just have like Gordon Ramsay like on the screen just going off about whatever he's going off about. And then people are like chatting on the couch or whatever. And what I love about big screen too is that you totally could just jump in and watch if you want to, or it gives you the option to kind of move around and then talk with someone from a distance. And then what's great is like the TV volume also feels like it's at a distance, like everything is proximity based, and it's just super, super interesting. And now this shows you how long it's been since I've been in big screen. I don't know like when this was a feature or added as a feature, but now you can like rent movies or whatever, and you can like rent out a theater and like invite people that way and stuff. That's super cool to me. Like it's really, I don't know, it's so just clever and a unique atmosphere to go.
What's the pricing models like? Do you know? Like, because I heard these announcements coming out, and honestly, like I just hadn't had an opportunity to jump into big screen recently.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. Like, what did you remember? Like, did they look super expensive or not? Like, were they super approachable?
I do remember it being like it was a little more expensive than like what I think want to pay for rental. Especially the one that they advertised in it walked me through a little tutorial, I guess, again, since it had been that long since I was in. And they advertised like Transformers: The Last Night, which is that's an interesting choice to advertise. But it was. I'm just gonna look it up real fast because I'm super curious about that as well. I just remember. I don't want to spout out a number and be wrong. Yeah, but I do remember it being like a little more than I was wanting to pay. Let's see here. It looks like. Sorry, dead air.
You're good.
Okay, let's see. All right. Okay, virtual tickets begin at $3.99. So that's actually not that bad. All right, let's see.
Yeah.
I want to see.
And does it say anything like, are you able to, like, when you rent it, is it exclusively in big screen, or is it something like, is it on a service that you might be able to watch it and like on your PC also? Or
I do think it is exclusively big screen. All right, yeah. All right. Let's see here. It says big screen partner with a major motion picture studio March. Okay, from now on until January. This is an older article. January 10th, you'll be able to find a selection of 4 movies each week that can be watched through the big screen app, all in a giant movie theater. Blah blah blah. And then it says.
And I think some of that stuff is free too, right? Like there's certain.
Most definitely, yeah. You can still host a room and whatnot. I'm pretty sure. Like you can still do all of that stuff, and I'm sure that there are people just like jury rigging it and kind of like sidestepping that whole deal. But what I wonder though is if you do go through them and use the actual rental video that they had, like whatever those options are that week. I'm wondering if the quality is like significantly improved, because that for me that's always been a thing. Like watching something, even like Netflix, like the Netflix app is super clean looking, like when you're looking around or whatever. But then looking at the screen, it's like I get a little fatigued. I'm like, all right, wow, this is like I kind of just would rather watch like on a TV or whatever. But yeah, it's just interesting. It was like that whole social aspect was interesting, and then Rec Room is, we were talking earlier, is still pretty fun. Like I'm enjoying Rec Room still here and there. But yeah,
no, all those things. No, I mean, big screen and Rec Room are two kind of staples as far as getting into VR with other people. I'm really looking forward to Facebook Horizons, and then all of the future. Just I really think that connecting with people is going to be a huge driver for VR in the future, especially with all of this stuff. So I want more of that, and I want to be able to play more games with my friends that also have headsets, and be able to make things a little bit easier to like I have a Quest and an Index here. It'd be really nice to be able to have more games that are cross compatible, that you can that everybody can kind of play from platform to platform together. So that's cool to hear. No, and I've been thinking about jumping into big screen mainly because being like I'm spoiled with my home theater system in Chicago. And since I'm away from that right now, I've been kind of thinking, like I wonder what it would be like to like watch a movie in big screen and kind of lay down on my bed or something, and like how would that like, given that I don't have access to like a bigger TV and all that stuff right now, like as opposed to watching stuff on my computer monitor, I'm just wondering
with the so to me, like I said, my eyes got a little fatigued with the Netflix app. But another thing was just like the OG like Rift foam starts to press in to my face a little bit if I want to keep it like really secure. However, VR covers, I just discovered those, ordered a couple of those bad boys. That fixes it like almost like immediately. That like it allows you to stay in longer, and it's significantly more comfortable, and you can take them off and wash them, which I love that. Like that's really great. And you can just throw one on like in between sessions if you wanted to throw it to a friend after like you were in and it, like got it all sweaty and whatnot. Like you can just straight take it off and put a new one on and throw the other one in the wash or whatever. Super neat. They don't have, to my knowledge, they don't have like the leather one for the Rift S yet. So when and if that comes out, I'll probably grab that so I could literally just wipe it with a wipe and then be done with it. I think that's the best option. But for me, like watching stuff, I feel like the Index, from what I have heard, I still haven't gotten to try an Index, but from what I've heard, it's probably the most comfortable experience. Yeah,
it's really comfortable. Like definitely, I mean, every person is different with a headset, so it's hard to like across the board say, oh, this is going to be the most comfortable for you, because everybody's face is shaped differently. And like for me with the Index, it pushes against my forehead just a little bit, but I was able to get something that kind of like little magnets that kind of offset it.
Oh, really?
And I mean, overall the Index is super comfortable, so I'm not like overly complaining or anything. But there's those little comfort mods you can do. And the only thing I'm not so sure, like each headset is a little bit different on the back, as far as like if you want to lay down, or like if you're not just like standing or sitting in a chair, like what will that back kind of do when it's pushed against something. So like some headsets are just better than others when it comes to that stuff. So I haven't really tried the Index a whole lot in that area yet.
Index is back like that. I really enjoy the.
It has the like, twisty thing.
Okay, so like that Halo style.
That seems. It's kind of its own system, but.
Okay, I gotcha. That was the one thing. Like my first quote unquote real headset was the PSVR headset, and that was what I always loved about that one. Like the like Halo style thing that Rift S took. It's like they took that. That is wicked comfortable.
Especially for like the weight. of the it. It did a good job for me to make it feel like the weight was taken off of the front of your face.
Absolutely. Yeah. That I've really enjoyed. So yeah, now with the with that extra little padding with the VR cover,
Yeah.
really helps. Cannot sing enough praises about those things. And they're super cheap. Like literally it was like $20 for two of them.
Yeah.
Like
No, and that's like actually a good tangent to kind of get on because I haven't tried these yet, but I recently, I mean, I try a lot of little random peripherals and stuff just to see if it can, improve my experience. And I actually played through most of Half-Life Alyx with the index controllers. For some people are a little bit small, so Valve actually released like a 3D model of like an extender that you can put on it. So like a lot of people were 3D printing them. Basically, it's just like a little plastic piece that you can fit on top of the controller and makes the base just a little bit wider. So, I mean, for a lot of people, it's people with bigger hands. For me, I have pretty small hands actually, but just something about using those in certain types of titles just makes my thumbs and my fingers rest on the buttons like a very specific way. And so I played like the initial hour or so without them, and then decided to throw them on just to see how it felt. And I ended up playing the whole game with those. So that was really like it made a big difference for me. And then the other thing that I recently purchased that is going to be shipping like this coming week or so is I got screen protectors for both my Quest and my Index. So I guess lens protectors is what they're called. They're little like printed pieces, and they're just like the shape of the lens, and they extrude out just like a few millimeters, and you put them on the lens, like, around the lens, and it just creates it because they're pushed out a little bit. It just creates an extra barrier so that if you're wearing glasses or something, the glasses will hit the 3D printed part, portion, and so that it's not making impact with the lenses themselves. So that was something that like I haven't got a chance to try them yet, so we'll see. Like I'm a little bit. I want to make sure that they fit properly around the lenses and all that. But online reviews looked good. For me, as someone that now is just at home and sometimes doesn't feel like putting in contacts, in the past I'd always just have to put in my contacts, and I'd never bought like anything like a prescription lens kit or anything for my headsets just because especially considering like my wife likes to use the headsets and other people like it's just but this sounded promising because if it really doesn't impact like my field of view or like how close I'm able to really get to the lenses, but it just gives extra protection for glasses. I mean, that's really nice for me because especially with the Quest, if I have that level of confidence, being able to just throw it on with my glasses would be really nice. Like the Quest comes with like this little, I don't know if the Rift S comes with anything like this, but it comes with this little like plastic, I don't know, like grate thing that you can insert into it. It goes in between the headset and the face mask.
Interesting.
And so it just it widens it, I think, a little bit just to protect the lenses. But I still don't feel super like I would like there to be some more protection. So
I gotcha. I always play. I always play with my glasses for the most part in the Rift S.
I've not. See, so maybe the Rift S is it doesn't have as much issues with glass. Like every headset is different in that regard. So
mine has been. To my knowledge, like I don't see any scratches or anything like that, or really feel it bumping or anything like that. Like, it seems pretty good to me. Like I've not had much issue. It definitely you feel a little more pressure, like especially like on the bridge of your nose, obviously. But outside of that, I mean,
no, I think though if your glasses fit comfortably in a headset and they're not, you're not in danger of scratching the lenses or anything like that. I think glasses are really nice just because for people that do have contacts versus like in my experience, when I am able to use my glasses in VR, it's so less fatiguing on my eyes than using the contacts.
Really?
So, yeah. Like just in general, I feel like my eyes get extra dried out. Like my eyes are already staying open a lot of times longer than they should be when I'm in the headset. Like I'm like playing Beat Saber or something. A lot of times you're not blinking as much as you normally would.
Yeah.
And so for me, wearing the contacts in addition to playing sometimes leads to them drying out a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
so a lot of times I'm like taking off the headset just because my eyes are drying out, whereas I'm perfectly comfortable in the headset. So I'm looking forward to that. So
Yeah.
but
Can't wait to
anyways, we should get on to. I know we wanted to talk a little bit about Half-Life Alyx.
Sure.
Before we get into that, I was just going to mention briefly that Oculus Connect 6 or no, Oculus Connect 7 was going to be this year's conference. Facebook recently made an announcement saying that that's not going to be taking place in person this year in San Francisco. So they're still going to do some kind of a virtual event. Details to be announced at a later date. But I just wanted to kind of put that out there just to let everybody know. It is a bummer, but at the same time, maybe Facebook will make this be an opportunity to involve more of the VR community in the conference that normally wouldn't be able to make it. So hopefully, last year was the first time I got to go with Oculus Connect 6, and it was amazing. So I was really looking forward to going again. Really looking forward to going with some of you guys. But it is what it is. This is I keep saying that, but it's true. It's
that's all you can say. It just
So
but
that, like I said, that said, I think Facebook has a lot riding on this whole connecting people thing, and given the current circumstances. So hopefully they can make Oculus Connect, a super awesome event, even though people won't be able to meet in person.
Yeah, totally agree. Also, with that, just a quick note. I've been really looking forward to Horizons for a while. So since they announced it, really, and I'm registered for the beta and everything. Haven't gotten any emails about that, but I did see that towards the end of March, people were getting called in to test for the alpha. So we can't be very far. Like maybe May, like very possible for beta for May. So,
and I'm sure they're trying to get something out sooner rather than later to get people talking, and when people are all inside and doing all sorts of Zoom, Facebook chat, whatever, everybody is using a webcam right now. So people being able to talk about Horizons at this point would be awesome. So.
Yeah, most definitely. I also saw this is something real fast that piqued my interest too. And kind of one of the things that was in the back of my mind when they announced it, it was very it looked like the Xbox avatar, more or less, like just legless. That's more or less what it reminded me of. And kind of the adjective I heard to describe it was kind of like Disney-ish, like Disney-fied, whatever. And someone asked, I'm going to butcher this, but someone asked someone over at Facebook, basically, is it all going to look like that forever, or will there be different variations of how the environments look, et cetera? And they were like, yeah, this is more or less just kind of like to launch it out, to roll it out. And they kind of put more emphasis on the fact that, like what they were saying, they really want to make it so that the community can kind of make it whatever they want to make it. And I assume that means in terms of aesthetics as well. So that would be really interesting to see, if we do that. That makes me think of more like, Oasis, Ready Player One style, open, just everything is
and it could potentially be very I know a lot of what they were pitching as far as the kind of people, like when you were registering for the beta, they were asking a lot of questions about what kind of, are you a content creator? What types of things do you create? Like they're very much interested in getting folks in that are going to be able to bring their skill sets to Horizons to actually expand on what it's capable of. And so, that's awesome to hear. And I'm curious as to how open, like what are the tool sets going to be super wide open, or are they going to be, a little bit more restricted? It sounds like
how easy is it going to be to use and create? Like, is it going to be like Minecraft easy, like literally that easy, or is that going to look like you have to hop out of VR to use them and type in a bunch of stuff, or who knows? I guess.
So, but no, that's interesting to hear. So, so I guess in the time that we have remaining, this wasn't going to be like our review of Half-Life or anything like that. But I just wanted to, it has been a little while since we were able to record our last episode. And so I did want to briefly talk about Half-Life Alyx, just to let people out there know, besides those that follow me on Twitter, kind of what my thoughts are about the game, what your thoughts are about the game, just generally, what we've been up to in Half-Life Alyx. So I guess you and I both come from different backgrounds and perspectives on this game. I played both of the original Half-Life games when they came out, and I was both waiting for a new Half-Life game, and I played episode 1 and 2. I should say that too. I basically played everything Half-Life related from Valve, and so I've been waiting for a sequel for that game for a long time. And in addition to that, I'm a huge VR enthusiast, obviously. Yeah. So when Half-Life Alyx was released, I was excited on multiple levels. For you, you're jumping into VR. You're a VR enthusiast yourself, but you don't have the background in Half-Life. I'm kind of curious. So starting off, what were your thoughts going into the game, and kind of what have you experienced so far?
Yeah, so I guess going into it, mostly what I was thinking about was like on the front end of it all, just the hype kind of surrounding it, and just knowing the hype, not even necessarily on the VR end of things, but just on the concept of there being a new Half-Life game. I know enough to be dangerous. Like I knew enough to know that was a big deal. So yeah. Like that piqued my interest immediately. I was like, all right, so new Half-Life. And then the fact that it is VR, it's like, okay, well now this is entering kind of my wheelhouse and things that I enjoy. So even though I didn't have a background on just on like a very, very like surface level, that was kind of where I was going into it. So, jumping into it for the first time and just, looking around at everything and just seeing the attention to detail. It's like the difference of going to like a Six Flags theme park, like entering VR for the first time and having a blast, and then going to Disney World and looking at like literally all of like the different, like Disney World is so good at capturing the environments, right? Like as you're walking, just the literally the attention to detail, just how precise and intentional every little thing is. And that's Half-Life. Like when you get into it, and it was absolutely mind-boggling.
I love that analogy, by the way, because I'm a big theme park fan, and like there's definitely a difference between like no one does the theming part of theme park like Disney does, in my opinion.
Sure. Yeah,
and just like sucking you into a world and creating that sort of atmosphere, and that's totally what you get. Like there's one word to talk up Half-Life Alyx. I think it would be atmosphere.
Absolutely.
Because you definitely are dropped into this world, and like love it or just like it. I don't think anybody would hate it necessarily, but sure. But one thing's for sure, like when you start playing Half-Life Alyx, you forget that you're like in a VR game at some point. Like you feel like maybe maybe you don't love horror games or this or that, but like there's no like qualms about like you're lost in that world.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that was so the horror aspect of the game, right? I feel like we've had this conversation a couple of times. I love horror movies. I should start by saying that. Like I'm a horror enthusiast as well, big time. Like I love going to watch horror movies. I go see pretty much everything that comes out within reason. Like I have some lines that I don't like crossed, but like by and large, I'll go see just about anything that's horror related. Like I really have a good time with it, and it's fun. And even horror games, like I played Dead Space, like in high school and stuff. Like that was fun to me. And things like that. Like I remember when Slender came out, that was a lot of fun to go and play at like a friend's house, kick all the lights off, and turn the all the way up and just play that. But so I didn't realize, I don't think, how like that it really had a horror element necessarily. And there are horror elements. It is elements. Yeah. It is not like a horror game. I wouldn't call it that. But initially, like the zombies and everything, when you first come across, like, minor spoilers, I guess, when you first come across all the zombies that are kind of deadling around in the world after you get your gun and you're kind of learned how to use that and everything, seeing those up close is like, woof, like, okay, like, this is like, those are zombies. And I kept like in my gut anticipating them just like popping up, like not xenomorph, but what are the things called in Dead Space? Whatever those are.
Yeah.
Just popping up that style, and I was like, man, this is not gonna be good for me if it's gonna be like that. But it totally isn't. It is not like the jump scares are very minimal, and I appreciate that. Like, I appreciate it. It's like I can look at the horror elements, and it's enough for me to be like, whew, like that. Yeah, this is horror, but then also back out and be like, it's not so intense that it's like, oh man, like I've got to get out. Like, I need a break. My heart can't take it anymore.
See, the craziest thing to me, and like I said, we're gonna get more into like a deep dive of Half-Life Alyx in a future episode when we can all just talk about, from beginning to end and everything. But like the craziest thing about Half-Life Alyx to me, and I don't know why I wasn't necessarily expecting this, but like for people that have played the past games, Half-Life Alyx like kind of doubled down on what those games did, and it was just like it brought the elements of Half-Life to VR in a way that made it feel like it was meant to be experienced this way from the beginning. Like all those all the the horror elements that you mentioned, like the gunfights and kind of like how they're structured, and then the puzzle elements, like both in terms of the actual puzzles, but also just the environment being its own kind of puzzle in and of itself, and kind of getting through from point A to Z is a big part of what this game is kind of about. And Half-Life, like all the other Half-Life, like all those things, like if you look at the actual cadences of what happened from the beginning to end of Half-Life Alyx, it's very similar to a traditional PC Half-Life game that's been released. Like it's very similar. Like it has familiarity in terms of how both Half-Life 1 and 2 played, in my opinion. But like I said, they somehow brought that to VR in a way that made it feel like it would be somewhat trivial to play those same types of games, on a traditional console going forward. And not to say that if they decided to go like that they wouldn't be able to make an awesome game and expand upon it in other ways. But they brought Half-Life to VR and then utilized VR in a way that really made it that much more impactful, I think. So, and that also leads into, I guess, like some of the criticisms I have just in terms of, I was thinking of this more in terms of what is Valve's vision of VR before I played it. And like, I didn't see as much of like the future of VR so much. I saw the future of what great games can be in VR. So, and I don't know that that's necessarily the same thing.
I know what you're saying.
Because VR can do so much more than just games, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I didn't see like a ton of new, like innovative uses for the technology in that respect. But I just saw like Valve brought a traditional game to VR in a way that I haven't seen done with any other title, that both captured the fun of the experience that you would have just playing it on a traditional PC or console. So they were able to bring all of the awesome parts of that experience, but mix it with VR in a way that made it new and made it something that is like all entirely better than it would have been otherwise. So that's like you play Half-Life Alyx, and in my opinion, you don't walk away from that experience thinking, man, this could have been just as good as a traditional game, or conversely, this would have been more fun as a traditional game. They could have designed a more fun version of this they made a game that is more fun to play in VR, and yet it brings all of those awesome things from the past games into an experience in a way that so it's like less VR centric than, like, it is VR centric, right? But it's less like innovative in terms of VR tech, yet somehow does something that I've never seen before in a way that I wasn't expecting, which is weird. Like, they just made an amazing Half-Life game in VR, which like seems like a no-brainer. Like, obviously that's what they were doing, but I don't know. Like, it was just, yeah, it's weird to me. Like, it's a really cool achievement.
So yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree. I think maybe that is the end goal, I guess, because that's what I've been telling people who haven't played it, or like my buddies who are interested, who have tried the Rift a few times, but haven't like pulled the trigger on one yet. Is like, okay, games are getting to a point now where it's not just like a few hours of a really good story, and it's kind of fun, and you can interact with the environment a little bit. But Alyx really takes it to another level where it feels completely fleshed out, and the world is like, there are load screens, and it's like there are levels for sure, but it still has that sandboxy element where in between like whatever you're doing, you can go, like, you can walk around, mess around in your environment, and like check every little nook and cranny for resin or ammo or whatever you need.
And even the load screens, like as you were mentioning that, like they don't even really, like, it's kind of masterful how they did it. Like, it creates a pause, but it doesn't feel like you're really being taken out of the experience either. Like,
because you're like, it just rolls. It like, it's like not showing you where you're headed, and it just kind of rolls. It's so fluid. It's very fluid is another good adjective. Like, that is, it's just so fully realized. And I will say, like, if your computer like just meets the specs, it may not be as great if you could really like just like push everything to the limit and get it going the way it's like meant to go. So there is still like the limitation there. Like, obviously this game could not be played on the Quest, like on a Snapdragon. Like, not going to happen. But like, in the next 5 or 6 years, it might be. Like, we might be there, and games might be more open world, or like we were kind of talking about, if it does, like with Horizons or something, and like whatever level people are able to create there, like you could totally have like everything might look different, but taking those elements of games like Alyx and incorporating them into something like Horizons, that is like, I think, the chief end for VR, and like making it all that it can be. And it's cool to see a title come in, and even for, like you said, like for a guy like me who has no frame of reference for Half-Life at all, like, it was no question. Like, it wasn't just me riding the hype train, nothing. It was just like, I got in, I spent like 30-40 minutes, and I was like, yeah, there's no question that this is easily the best title that VR has to offer right now. No question. There are plenty that are, in my opinion, like equally as fun to play, but in terms of just like best overall experience, like top to bottom, like there's no argument that anyone can make that anything is better right now. Like, it is set a new precedent for what a game in VR should look like, without doubt.
No, I agree, and like, I don't know exactly what Valve's up to, but I really hope that they continue making VR titles, and they continue making the Half-Life franchise in VR, because it's one of those things. Like I said, you haven't played the other games, but it's a similar experience, just with so much lacking, in my opinion. Like, now that I've seen what Half-Life can be like in VR, like it just feels like, man, like, why would I want to do that when I can do this?
Interesting.
So that's, but we'll get into the game more, because like I said, like, there's more ups and downs that I'd love to discuss in a future episode. So but needless to say, we all love the game, and I look forward to talking to you guys about it more in the future. So
me too. I still have to finish it, so I'll probably take some more swings at it this week, and just continue it along. What's cool is I've got everything loaded on a little 2 terabyte SSD, so I can go, like, if I needed to take it with me somewhere, literally, I run. So like for those who like, I know I just recorded an episode. So I run like I've got an NZXT build that I use at home, and then I've got a Razor Blade 15. So I can take my Rift S pretty much anywhere and
That's
run
so cool though that you can, yeah, if you just put it on your games on an SSD, you don't even have to install them in multiple places. You can just swap the drive and just play it directly from that. That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, it just runs. It's literally like it's like 3 inches big. It's crazy. Like it's so weird. Like in film school, we got these massive like the C hard drives that they're 6 terabytes, so they're like pretty beefy. And you can daisy chain them, which is also really cool for like if you had a crazy workflow that you were doing an edit on or whatever. But like the fact that you can get 2 terabytes of solid state, which is significantly better than a hard drive, not even a comparison really, on this little bitty thing is just, it's mind boggling. So yeah, switching between the computers is a snap. Like setting up this PC. I got this PC last week, 2 weeks ago now. Setting that thing up and getting it ready to go from the Razer was like a non-issue with that little solid state. Really, I just loaded up Steam, set the folder structure to go to where it was supposed to go in this folder, and everything was already installed. Like it just worked. It was so awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah, super nice.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that'll about do it. My my AirPods are about to die, I think. So I keep getting those little ding dong kind of sounds.
Yeah, sure.
So hopefully it don't die in the next few seconds. But yeah, thanks for joining me, John. Really appreciated it. And yeah, that was a lot of fun for everybody out there. Thanks for joining. We'll be back with more episodes soon. Like I said, we have a lot of other games to play, but also looking forward to jumping on with you and hopefully Zane and Damon to talk more about Half-Life Alyx in the future. So with that, see you guys next time.
All right.
Take care.
Good.